Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause of sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Afternoon, all. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day or had a wonderful day. Sorry I'm coming to you guys so late. We knew, well, I think a lot of people knew that the press conference was going to be going on for Harmony Montgomery. We've got notice of it. I think it was yesterday sometime is when we started hearing about it here. And how many of you guys watched the actual press conference? Put a 1 in the chat. I've got it here. I've got it up, but I just want to see. I mean, if everybody has seen it, then we may just go through it instead of playing it. Only 5 hours left. Jeez. Yeah, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Okay, so we got a few that have watched it. Okay, good. So no, I didn't see it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and play it, but there's it's sad. It's just a sad day. When we came back from covering the case of Summer Wells, which was the first child case that we covered, it seemed like almost, I don't know, it just seemed like all these children, one right after another, were being reported as missing. And a couple of them that I picked up on was Serenity McKinney and Harmony Montgomery. Although I didn't do the level of work in either of those, research and whatnot on either of those cases, I did do, some due diligence, but for the most part, I didn't give it the level of attention that, say, Summer Wells, Gabby Petito, or the other ones that we've gone out to see. But we had 3 girls that had a lot of similar circumstances surrounding their disappearance, from like their home environment to substance and abuse problems in the home. It's just it was just sad. And so out of the 3 girls, and actually, should I pull those up? I think we'll run this and then I'll show you. We had Serenity McKinney, Harmony Montgomery, and Summer Wells. And now, obviously Serenity McKinney has been recovered, and, we're about to hear the news related to Harmony Montgomery. So, that just leaves really one more child. I mean, well, out of the 3 that we were covering, out of the 3 girls, I mean, you guys know we're going to Idaho to try to help with, do our part for Michael Vaughn. And I'm really excited. I really hope we, do well for everybody. We're really trying to just get some clarification, help, and again, just do our part. So I'm really thankful for that, for this opportunity. So without further ado, let me just go ahead and pull this up and we'll listen to it now. Let me know if you guys are having audio difficulties.
We're here today to provide an update regarding the ongoing investigation into the 2019 disappearance of Harmony Montgomery. Back in January, we announced that then 5-year-old Harmony likely disappeared sometime between November 28th and December 10th of 2019. Since that announcement, members of my office, members of the Manchester Police Department, the U.S. Marshal Service, the FBI, and other law enforcement partners have been diligently continuing to work this case.
I have to say this before we go too much further is, they did work the case, but there's a bigger conversation here as to why this whole entire scenario happened for Harmony Montgomery. And there was as many, for those that have been following this case, and some of you that haven't been following this case, let me just give you a little background. So this was a child that was in her mother's custody. Her mother's name was Crystal Sorey. And apparently Crystal had substance abuse problems. And her daughter was taken from her and put into most likely foster care. I'm pretty sure that's how it was. And so there was all, the court hearings and everything like that. Well, apparently, I'm not sure if there was a move or what happened, but there was an issue between two alphabet soup of child welfare that weren't paying attention to this child. The courts gave Harmony to her father, which was a violent criminal. I don't know if it was done in error. I have no clue. I have no clue whether it was done in error or if it was intentionally done, but there was no home study done for Harmony. And shortly after her going into the home with her father, there were some evidence or signs that there may be something more going on inside that home. And they just lost contact, and just yes, exactly, Ruby, complete CPS failure, just complete CPS failure. But they did a study on this, and they did basically say what we all knew from the beginning. It was their fault. They blah 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 blah. We're going to do better, and whatever. So she had never been found. And then we got the news that there was a little child, it ended up being, we just found out finally that it is confirmed to be Serenity. And then we get this. But prior to this, if you guys remember, there was a subpoena or warrant issued on the old apartment complex that Harmony lived in with her stepmother and her father. Now, this is where they believe that something may have happened to Harmony. So they went in there and they grabbed doorknobs, faucets. They cut out portions of the floor. They cut out carpet. They cut out some drywall in the ceiling of the bathroom. And they took a refrigerator out. And then now, fast forward, here we are finding out. Well, I'll let this play before I say too much, but might as well just go ahead and we'll play it anyways. Now they're saying that this is no longer a missing person or criminal investigation. This has now been upgraded to a homicide investigation, and they have already received some biological evidence back. So let's just listen.
In total, these agencies working together have devoted thousands of hours gathering evidence and pursuing numerous leads. All of these efforts have led us to conclude that Harmony Montgomery was murdered in Manchester in early December of 2019.
Now, if you guys remember, I believe it was December. I can't remember exactly the specific day, but I think it was December that Adam and Kayla were officially evicted from that apartment. Was right there at that time. And so I'm assuming that they believe that all this stuff transpired. Maybe they were getting evicted. I'm just speculating here. Maybe tempers were heated. Maybe, in a fit of rage, she got in the way. A lot of things can be said here. But again, as you're hearing from this press conference, this is now a homicide investigation. They do not believe they believe Harmony Montgomery is officially dead, and that she was murdered. And so they are going to now be pursuing this investigation as a homicide investigation. Let's keep listening.
At this point, while Harmony's remains have not yet been located, we do have multiple sources of investigative information, including just recently confirmed biological evidence that have led us to this difficult.
That's correct. He did say that. Let me just go back just a few seconds. He did say biological evidence. So they're already getting some preliminary results in.
Including just recently confirmed biological evidence.
Recently
that have
confirmed.
led us to this difficult and tragic conclusion.
So they had to have found something. And with it being so close to that warrant and that subpoena to get those things out of the prior apartment, I really believe that they've had to have either found something in that refrigerator, or they were able to see blood spatter, or there was so much blood that it would be next to impossible for whoever sustained that injury to survive that injury. And I'm just telling you something. I feel like because they are able to now pinpoint almost with specificity that Harmony is no longer with us and what date they believe this now happened on, it almost feels like because of the eviction and that particular date that it was most likely done at that apartment, and they found something with that search warrant and that evidence that they took out of that apartment. Now, again, that's not what they're stating here. That is strictly speculation, conjecture, in my opinion only. I want to make sure that's clear. I'll make sure that's clear.
As a result, today I am announcing that this is now officially a homicide investigation, and that our investigators will continue to seek justice and look into the circumstances of Harmony's murder and search for her remains.
Yeah. Search for her murderer and search for her remains. This is now officially a recovery effort by law enforcement for Harmony Montgomery. But we've talked here on this chat, different protocols that are in place for different types of investigations, from a missing person investigation to a criminal investigation to a homicide investigation. But this is definitely, not the news many of us hoped for. Many of us thought in the back of our brain this to be true. Many of us thought maybe something else happened to her. But law enforcement has now officially ruled Harmony's case a murder investigation, a homicide investigation, whatever word you'd like to use. And it's very, very sad. This poor girl was already blind in one eye. Many of you may or may not realize that. She already had a very difficult life because she was in the care of her mother, which was, doing some really bad things, and the state just said, you can't take care of your child. We need to take the child for the child's own benefit, and then turn that child over to her violent father. And it's sad. They're not implying who they believe is responsible. You will hear him constantly referring to person or persons that are responsible for this. But and at this point right now, law enforcement has concluded and has already received some biological test results back, which have confirmed that Harmony is no longer with us. And
we understand that this is truly devastating news for Harmony's family, friends, and loved ones, and our hearts go out to them. This is also devastating news for the city of Manchester, for our state, and all who have followed this story. Our work now turns to getting justice for Harmony and all those who loved her. In a moment, I'm going to turn it over to Manchester Police Chief Alan Aldenberg, but before I do, I just want to acknowledge the tireless work that the Manchester Police Department has put into this difficult and truly heartbreaking case. We have much work left to do, but I think everyone would join me in thanking the chief and his team for their efforts thus far. I also want to acknowledge the work of Senior Assistant Attorney General Jesse O'Neill from my office, who is here today. He's worked closely with Chief Aldenberg, the Manchester Police Department, and all of our law enforcement partners in this investigation. And there is much work left to come. Chief.
Thank you, General. Good afternoon. As the Chief of Police for the City of Manchester, I'm beyond saddened that we stand here today to announce.
You can literally see, the heartbreak on these officers' faces. So, obviously they got the news either within the last probably 72 hours. I don't know if it was 72 hours, 48 hours, 24 hours ago, but we knew about this press conference coming forward. We kind of started hearing about that it's most likely to say this case has turned into a homicide investigation because we've been watching this case, and, that, again, it comes down to that warrant that they served on the apartment complex and took evidence out of there. They took a lot of stuff, including a refrigerator, and looked inside the drainage stuff, all the manholes and stuff like that, looking. So they had an idea, obviously, of what may have transpired. And they're just, they had to have found something. They had to have found something. And these officers, this is not a good day for these officers as well. You know, they have families, they have grandchildren, they have children. This is not any kind of news that they want to think about. I mean, you know, many of us find it hard to believe that people are capable of such atrocities. And these law enforcement see things that we don't see on a daily basis, and God bless them. I don't know how they keep their sanity. I really don't.
Disappearance of Harmony Montgomery is now officially a homicide investigation. As I stated from the beginning of this investigation and throughout, every effort has been made to bring Harmony home to her family. Our commitment to bringing Harmony home has not wavered, nor will it. Bringing Harmony home will continue to be the number one priority of the Manchester Police Department. I want to take a moment to publicly thank the Manchester Police Department detectives and New Hampshire Attorney General's Office for their steadfast commitment and dedication to this investigation.
We also want to thank them for that, because if we think about this case, even though she has been missing for almost 2 years prior to, or more than 2 years, I believe, you know, it's been some time, but I think they said somebody must have seen her at the end of 2019. Did I write that down? Let me see what I've got here. I think I might have left my pad on the. Yeah, I must have left the wrong pad. But they. I think she was last seen in 2019, but I can't remember the specific month. But she was, and they're going to say it on here if they haven't already. And she was reported missing December, or we started hearing about the potential of her missing on like around December something of 2021, almost 2 years after she actually disappeared. And since December 2021, we're not even to December 2022. And this agency has had the parents already charged with crimes, already behind bars. Kayla was able to bond out. She was rearrested. And I believe she bonded out again. They have dropped one of the charges against Kayla. Kayla is the stepmother. They have dropped one of the charges related to the welfare fraud against Kayla. And I say drop because they were required to take certain information or the file to the grand jury, and they never did. And that's not something that they would normally, you know, we have systems to make sure we don't miss deadlines in the legal field, you know. I'm no longer in the legal field, but, you know, I'm very familiar with the processes that happen. And, you know, they just don't forget something like that. So I truly believe that there was some kind of deal of some sort worked out for that charge not to be pursued. But
there have been many detectives assigned to this investigation, and I'm grateful to all of them. But I want to specifically recognize Captain Sean Layton, Captain Matt LaRochelle, Sergeant Jamie Cavari, who could not be here today, Detective Jack Dunleavy, Detective Scott Riley, and Detective Max Rahill, as well as Deputy U.S. Marshal Billy Tubb.
Now, there were some technical issues. This is not my technical issues. This is actually WFALA's technical issues.
Thus far in this investigation. I am grateful for the compassion and dedication that they've given to this investigation over the past 8 months. They've experienced many ups and downs, many moments of frustration and sadness along the way, but they have remained focused and remained undeterred as they enter the next phase of this investigation. I feel it's important to recognize these true professionals, as their job is an extremely difficult one. It is even more difficult when investigating the homicide of a sweet and innocent 8-year-old girl. It is equally important for me to recognize the professionalism and commitment of Senior Assistant Attorney General Jesse O'Neill. Attorney O'Neill has been part of this investigation from day one, and he has not wavered one bit. I am personally grateful to Attorney O'Neill for the guidance and counsel he has provided me along the way. He's a consummate professional, and the state of New Hampshire should be thankful for having such an individual seeking justice for Harmony. So thank you.
I'm very appreciative, but you know what? I still can't ignore the elephant in the room of this should have never happened to begin with. This should have never happened to begin with. There should be something. I really think part of this problem is not having a centralized database for these children. The ones that go into anytime CPS has custody or takes, not, I shouldn't say custody, but anytime a CPS worker goes to a home, takes a case of any sort, whether it should show all that in the computer system, no matter what state you're in. Yeah, anybody that, you know, if they lived in Florida and there's a case open in Utah, Utah should be able to type their name in, type their social security number, and get all the files from Florida just like that. We're in 2022. This is not rocket science. We have this capability for our violent offenders and our criminals in this country through, you know, whatever it is. I can't even remember the name, but, you know, APHIS or whatever it is, or, you know, whatever they call it. But they already have a central database for, you know, felons. Why don't they have it for parents and children that have had contact? You know, this is the gimmick. Like, the only agency that us in the United States literally have no way to oversee is the child welfare system, because they claim what? Privacy, HIPAA, you know, all these other things where we cannot have true transparency to see what is really going on. And we have to rely on reports from the very government that is making these mistakes, because we, the people, aren't allowed to see them. And I just, you know, it's just frustrating. I think these, like I said, these law enforcement agents did a fabulous job. They got the parents behind bars. What should have happened in Tennessee with the Summer Wells case, but they got the parents behind bars on the low-hanging fruit. Anything they can charge these parents with to put them behind bars, that's what they did. Anything that they could prove so it wasn't frivolous, right? And that's what they did. And they kept those parents there. And they worked their rear end off. Again, she was not reported missing until December 2021. It's not even December 2022. And this agency, even without this child's body, is able to now transfer this over to a homicide investigation and start doing those protocols. So we're very thankful for them, but we can't quit talking about the elephant in the room, that this should have never, ever, ever happened to even begin with. And you can see on these law enforcement officers' face, this is not what they want to be doing.
Yes. It's not often that a public official takes a moment to thank the media, but I feel it's important to do so. I specifically want to extend my gratitude to WMUR and Fox Boston for continuously keeping Harmony's story at the forefront. Both outlets and many others did so with compassion and professionalism, and for that I say thank you. I know that over the past 8 months that there have been many discussions, speculation, and questions relative to where the system failed Harmony. And I myself continue to share the same concerns and still have many remaining questions.
Law enforcement has concerns as to how this whole thing happened. And I would like to know what is being done to the judge that ordered this child into this dangerous home without even doing a study, a home study. Is he losing his job because this child lost her life? I would like to know that. That is important to me. May not be important to you, but it's definitely important to me. Because we've got to come to the root of this issue. And at the end of the day, corners were cut and it lost a child her life. Who is being held responsible for that? That the courts did.
However, the homicide of this little girl rest with the person or persons who committed this horrific act. The Manchester Police Department will do everything within the limits of the law to ensure that the responsible person or persons for the murder of Harmony are brought to justice. As always, I encourage members of the public to continue to use the dedicated tip line should they have any information at all that would assist us in locating Harmony or any information that they feel is relevant to this investigation. The dedicated tip line has, the dedicated tip line number is 603-203-6060. Again, that number is 603-203-6060. As I said from the beginning, I maintain the stance that there are people out there in the community that have information about this investigation who have yet to come forward. If you are that person, pay attention to me carefully. If you are that person, I implore you to do so now and come forward. I'm not asking.
They're asking the person or persons to come forward. And this is a prime time for Kayla and Adam to cut a deal right here, right now. This is the prime time. Because I'm telling you, when they start talking like that, they already know what most likely happened. I truly believe. And they're giving the one last ditch effort before they come hard. It is time for Kayla and Adam to come clean with law enforcement. Start cooperating, cut a deal. I mean, I don't care what kind of deal they cut. They're not going to be, it'll be better than what they're facing. I can guarantee that. But no deal is going to, they're going to do lots and lots of time, if not life sentences. So it's now time to cut a deal, because I have a funny feeling when they find out what truly happened or start, going to trial, the despicable nature of this particular case, I have a funny feeling they are going to be seeking this as a capital case. And I don't know what the laws are in New Hampshire, or whether they believe in the death penalty or anything like that. But I'm saying right now would be a great time to come clean.
Do it for me, for the people in this room, the people that have been working this investigation. Do it for this little girl who's on this screen. The time is now. Time to step up and do the right thing. Make the call to that tip line or contact the Manchester Police Department any way you see fit. Harmony is a sweet and innocent child who deserves to be brought home to her family and friends. Thank you. General?
I'm going to probably kill it here, because they start having some major technical issues where their whole entire feed almost drops.
All of our law enforcement partners for their assistance in this investigation. Before we close, I just want to take one more opportunity to express my deepest sympathies to Harmony's family, friends, and loved ones.
And that's where it starts getting all froggy. We don't hear much anything else, so I didn't even hear his closing comments on this particular feed. But again, they were having some technical issues, so Harmony is no longer with us. And then we're going to turn our attention to another case that I'm sure you guys have been hearing about. It's related to Kylie Rodney from Northern California, and I did want to provide an update on her case as well for each of you. So we're just going to watch this, and then I'll be right back with you.
In California right now, where the search is on for a missing 16-year-old who went missing last Saturday near a recreation and park district. Let's listen right here on Live Now.
I'd first like to introduce Placer County Sheriff's Detective Sergeant Scott Alford.
First of all, thank you everybody for coming out. This is an amazing community. We appreciate the support.
Have you guys watched this press conference yet? Put a 1 in the chat if you have. Put a 2 if you haven't. Just curious. I don't want to, be doing stuff that you guys have already seen. No, you haven't seen this? Okay. So we'll go ahead and keep playing it. It's about 18 minutes.
For the family, we appreciate everybody's concern. Just to let you know, from the investigation side, on the missing persons investigation, we are working with local, state, and federal agencies. We're using every tactic we can to try to get any information that might help further our investigation. In any tip that comes in, we're taking all the tips from the tip line from any means, whether it's emailed, called in, through the conversations with kids that we met with here at the community center. Those are all being chronologically put into our tip spreadsheet, and we're addressing those, prioritizing them, and we're taking a look at every single one. So no, we don't. If you think you have information and you don't know if it's relevant, we want it. We want any information because we'll follow up on any and every lead that we can. Obviously, we have.
So here's my theory. Let me just kind of come back here. And this, there could be, in my mind, there's two legitimate theories that I can foresee. And the two legitimate theories is, she met somebody. She either got in, maybe met somebody and something happened. Maybe she was entirely too intoxicated and, something happened with whoever she was with and that person got scared. The other thing is somebody intentionally took her and did whatever. The other theory is, and this is the one that just popped in my brain as soon as I was reading this, because, this is at a park. This is, the kids were all drinking. She was clearly intoxicated, according to some friends' statements that I listened to. And, she told them that she would either have somebody drive her or she would just sleep in her car and then head home. Obviously, her car is missing. People say that kids are smart, but you know what? That's the problem. Kids are very, very smart. But whenever you're under the influence of alcohol, a lot of people make very, very poor decisions depending on their level of toxicity, right? Intoxication. So, did she try to make it home? Did she make a wrong turn? I'm looking at this area and there's a lot of different bodies of water. I don't know how far. What is her age? I think it was 16, if I'm not mistaken. I think she's a 16-year-old girl. Of course, there was underage drinking out there. But again, officers are not looking at, those types of things. They're looking for this missing girl. And her car has not been found. So it just, I don't know why I have this, and it just keeps screaming out. And, I know that people are very concerned for her and think that maybe somebody does have her. And that is definitely a possibility and a probability. But I also, I'm remembering a lot of things that happened when I was her age. And, I had several friends, especially on summer break that didn't make it back to school. So there were scenarios like this that happened when I grew up in my county. And I have this funny feeling that she ended up making a turn and went right into a body of water. And there was another situation where a woman went into a body of water. I don't know where it was. It was in Florida, but it was north of me. And I don't know if it was Tarpon Springs or Treasure Island or something like that, where a woman was, she had left a bar and she ran, she was on a boat ramp or something. She parked in a parking lot and she took a wrong turn and literally drove into the water on the boat ramp. And they didn't find her for several days because there was no marks, absolutely no marks of any vehicle entering or exiting that, because it wasn't dirt or sand or things of that nature. And that was truly a boat ramp. So, and I've got several of these types of examples. Some of the interviews are weird with her friends. Could it be a GoFundMe thing? I don't know, Miss Robin. That's interesting. There were a lot of interesting things, a lot of people are asking, does she have a boyfriend? Did her boyfriend meet up with her? Because, we always, unfortunately, we have to look at the inner circle because typically the last person to see somebody in a situation has a higher percentage of being the one responsible. We'll say it like that. So it's completely factual. And with her, I don't know, I've seen a lot of creators. I didn't watch their videos. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. But, are questioning, did she have a boyfriend? The other one is that she drove there with a friend. And when she drove there with a friend, apparently her and her friend they just drove together because they were hanging out earlier that day. They were never planning on leaving together from the party. The girl wanted to leave with her boyfriend and hang out with her boyfriend, her other friend. And so they said their goodbyes and she left. And then another friend that she was supposed to give a ride to, saw that she was intoxicated and she wanted to stay at the party. Her friend wanted to leave, but didn't want her, didn't want, what is it? Kylie, what's her last name? Sorry, guys. I don't know why I can't remember it. What is it? Kylie Rodney. I don't know why I can't remember Kylie Rodney for some reason. But that Kylie was intoxicated and she didn't want to ride with her. She was the last person to hear from her on the phone. Apparently, Kylie called her friend to let her know that she was getting ready to leave. Apparently, there was a call that Kylie made to her mother at midnight saying that she would be home. She was heading home, which is another thing that sparks my curiosity, because typically if I'm out or at her age, we did have cell phones. They were much more expensive per minute than they are these days, but the phones were cheaper, right? But, when we called home, we were already in the car and typically en route. We don't typically call our parent and say, hey, I guess it could go both ways. Because I've done it too, where I said, hey, Mom, I'm going to be leaving here in 10 minutes. So, but it did sound like she was actually going to venture, get in the car and venture home. So that's what these are the types of things that were, flowing in my mind. So clearly she was leaving. So it's almost sounds like she perhaps made it back to her vehicle and perhaps may have tried to drive. And at 16 years old, a lot of people don't realize that, it takes up to 25 minutes to feel the full effects once you stop drinking, So she may have felt fine when she was driving, when she first left. But, a few minutes down the road, it could have hit her. So, I don't know. But again, they are concerned that somebody has abducted her or took her against her will. And that is, again, a good possibility and a good probability. But there's also another one, and that's the one I just explained. We're not immune to that. So, oh, by the way, guys, I do have the StreamYard pinned to the top. If you guys have anything you want to make a comment on the news related to Harmony Montgomery, come on up. If you would like to talk about Kylie Rodney, come on up. If you have another case that you'd like to talk about, come on up.
To prioritize them so that we can focus our resources. And so those who had firsthand contact with Kylie, who interacted with her near the time that she was last seen, those take priority. But we're looking at, video that people were sending in, anything. We're looking at.
That's the one good thing that I can say is that her friend did say that everybody was recording, taking pictures, uploading that stuff to social media. There was another social media where everybody was planning on downloading. I think it's something Reels or something like that. I don't know. I don't understand that. I've never heard of it. But law enforcement has a lot of photos and videos, and they're still asking people that attended this party to please hand over your video and photographs of that party. So if anybody was here, if anybody attended that party, if anybody sees this video that was there that hasn't talked to law enforcement, pick up the phone, tell them what you know, do your part in this investigation. If you took videos or photography while you were attending this party and you have not handed those over to law enforcement, please reach out to them so that you're able to do so. They need that. They need that. The videos and the photography.
Timestamp so we can create the best timeline possible. Take all that information, and we're committing all the resources we can to follow up.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce Nevada County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Hack, who will be speaking more on the search and rescue efforts surrounding the search for Kylie.
Thank you. Sergeant Dennis Hack, Search and Rescue Coordinator for the Nevada County Sheriff's Office. I want to let you know at this time we have over 16 agencies involved in our search efforts. In the field right now, we have over 100 volunteers. Those volunteers are searching on foot. We're using canines. We're using vehicles, including motorcycles, UTVs, Jeeps, and such. We're using air assets to assist in the search, and we're also searching on
Thank you, Valerie.
the water using boats. As of this meeting right now, we've logged over 1,500 man hours in our effort. We received information on Saturday of the initiation of the missing persons report.
I did want to, you're right. I know that there are, and they do address that they believe that there are some people that are scared to come forward, but they have actually stated multiple times they're not going, they don't care. This has nothing to do with any underage drinking. That's not what they're there for. They've told the community, we're here to find this girl, and people are coming forward. So I'm very happy to hear that.
We moved into a unified command with Placer County and started conducting a search and rescue operation in Nevada County. Throughout Saturday and Sunday, the incident was handled by Placer County and Nevada County. As the event expanded, we reached out to partners at the state level and also federally to assist us in the search. Search and rescue operates off of the information that we have available to us. The way that we develop that information and design our search areas and our objectives is based off of the clues that we receive from the field while we're searching. And the second way that we receive our information.
And just to say, Valerie, it's Truckee, California. Hey, Amy, do you want to be online? If not, I'll just go back to me and I'll bring you forward. Hold on. It's probably going to still pop you up on there. There you go. There you go. Okay, we're good.
Hi, I'll let you finish what you were doing.
Oh no, I'm just going to break right there. You can go.
I'm just disgusted with these judges. Two things with the Harmony case. I don't understand. I'm so tired of these judges doing this to these kids. And I think that something needs to be done. Just not, poo-poo it. Oh, we're so sorry this happened, or you call us in for a tip and all this stuff. I really think that these people need some accountability. And also, Tennessee should be watching what's going on. I think Hawkins County's got to take a look at this case. I got, what happened is like Tennessee is like, I keep harping on this county system. I looked up what they do as far as their government is in New Hampshire, and it's a limited government. They have very few responsibilities. They do a few things, but what I read, if you looked it up on Google and how their county system works, the county government does not run investigations. Yeah. It looks more like the state, the city, the attorney general. I don't hear the attorney general in Tennessee doing anything about this. And even today, when I was looking at Twitter and I was looking at Marsha Blackburn, Senator is in Tennessee, in Eastern Tennessee, looking at some plant or whatever, some factory. I tweeted back at her, says, so what are you going to do about this corrupt Hawkins County and hashtag missing child, hashtag Summer Wells? What do you're there? Why don't you, while you're at it, why don't you go look and see what's going on as far as this investigation is concerned. So this is what I tweeted. I'm not going to expect a response, but I get tired of this whole thing. And, that's just my piece of the puzzle with this case. But, but I've been to to Manchester, where this case is, it's a very big city. They would have tax dollars. There's a lot of, I've been, because my family is from, a lot of families from that area. I went to a wedding up there. So there's a lot of commerce, shopping malls. So they have a big tax base. So they do have the revenue, though they're a tax-free state. They do have revenue from a lot of the businesses to be able to fund these searches and investigations. I would say probably much more than Hawkins County is doing or has for Summer Wells. And the case in California, I really think that this was an accident. I think I'm just going to look at the obvious, because I really think that she must have drove off, and she must have not. She took a turn, a really crazy corner, and she took it she didn't slow down, and she must have skid off into a ravine somewhere, and they probably haven't found her yet. And that's just my opinion, because I remember when I was a teenager, when I was like 19, and I went to my mother would not want me to go out at night, and there was this club that let in you were 19 to party or 21 to drink, and I went there. It was like really late, and it was like the snow was like melting. It was like there was snow on the road, but there was a lot of black ice. And I was leaving, and I took a corner too fast, and I wound up in a snowbank. And luckily there was a wall. If there wasn't this wall there or something, I would have tumbled down the edge of the road, and I could have been, and this was before cell phones. And unfortunately someone was able to help me. I got AAA. They called the police and stuff for me. That was, they were able to go to a phone, but I personally think that this girl is, somewhere in a ditch. I think there are people
that was like, when I heard this story, that was the first thing that popped into my mind. And then when I heard that she was talking to her friend and that she was talking about staying, and then I heard that she called her mother and said she was heading home, that's when my thoughts changed, because I'm processing, how did I call my mom? It's hard to remember, back then, when I was 16 years old. I remember a lot, but did I call when I was heading home? Did I call, a few minutes before I was leaving, but it just sounds like she was attempting to go home. Why else would she have called her mother? If she was planning on staying, she would have called her mom and said, Mom, I'll be home later. I'm sorry.
And also, but if we went to parties like that back then, like at her age, there was there was no payphone. We had no way of calling our parents, especially with no buildings. Like where I grew up, they had parties at the beach. I grew up in the Long Island Sound, so everybody hung down to the beach where the parking lot was, and they all parked it, hung out, and they had illegal beers in their car, whatever they weren't supposed to be drinking. But there was always a police presence. The police were always in there, making sure the kids weren't getting into trouble. There were people that were getting caught drinking underage, and they were very strict. And I just don't know if it's this California policy, the liberal way. I don't know that they're it's just not what they're doing over there as far as watching, especially that they announced this party on the social media, and that's how supposedly 300 people went to this party.
Yeah. They said this was the largest party that area had seen ever, at least to these kids' knowledge. They didn't ever had a party out there that grew this big. So there was a lot of people out there. There was, you got to think this was not just high schoolers either.
Right,
these are college kids. With college kids come grown college kids that don't go to college anymore. You don't know what is going on.
Oh, exactly. But it's just shocking that they didn't have police there, that weren't there like on a regular, knowing that there were parties that have occurred at this place. You would think that would be part of their regular nightly patrol.
Yeah, and just because in law enforcement, the good thing about law enforcement is they have the opportunity to enforce certain laws and not. So if they wanted to let these kids have a good time, because it was end of the break, this is, let's be honest, this kind of stuff has been going on for generations
Of
after
course.
generations after generations. Nothing new.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so if they didn't want to enforce, if they just wanted to make sure the kids were safe, they have the ability to do that.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm
Every
saying.
little damn thing.
Right. No, I just that to have some presence to monitor the
and
situation.
they should have, because there's no way that, from my understanding, that they could have
Right.
not known.
And also, but I also bet that this will be the last party like this there, that this has ended it for that tradition, if this has been a tradition that's been going on. All right. I just figured I'd come on, you
It's
know.
nice to hear from you.
Nice seeing you. All right, hon. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. So our friend Amy letting us know how she feels about it. You know, it's just it's really sad, and I hope Kylie Rodney is found. I pray that she is found unharmed. But there are two pretty darn good possibilities, and there's just something with the call with the mom that just kind of, you know, I was already feeling it. Like, literally when I read this, that's the first thing that came to my mind. Not that it was correct, and I even came on here and said, you know, I may not be correct about this at all, but as soon as I read what had transpired, that was the first thing. And that was absent of hearing her friend talk and hearing that she called her mom. That was just the first feeling that my gut told me. And but it's sad because, you know, there is a real possibility that this woman was taken advantage of, and that she is held against her will, or even worse, by an assailant. So it's just, it's a little crazy. It's a little crazy. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to come on here and happy pre-Friday. Yeah, I just wanted to come on here and say hi. I didn't come on live today. I knew that this press conference is coming on, but it's later in the afternoon. I'm kind of, you know. We have Suzanne from Louisiana is here, or coming here in guidance, and we're going to make it out to the courthouse. Don't know if Jason Sternquist is going to show up. Don't know if Doug Live is going to show up, but we're going out there. I want a big shout out to Sonia that she gave us a care package for tomorrow with some beautiful shirts she made. You'll see them tomorrow when I take group photos of everyone. So anyways, just a big shout out to Sonia for all that. Thank you, love. I appreciate everything that you do, and you keep continuously do for these kids and all these people that are victims of these crimes. So we just really thank you for that. Just love you to death, love you to pieces. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that, guys, I'm kind of done. We're going to probably dive into Kylie Rodney in this coming week. We're going to cover her because it's an active missing person. Her friends and family have done an excellent job at really thrusting this into the forefront of not only national media but social media, and just really would like to do my part to help this young girl out that they can't find. She went to a celebration party, you know, like many of us have done in our lives, and she never made it home. So, you know, trying to stay positive, trying to stay optimistic, but, you know, we are in true crime, and a lot of these things just don't turn out as we had hoped. So anyways, lots of sadness today. Kind of sucks. What do you do? What do you do? So anyways, guys, have a great evening. I love each and every one of you. God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow. So I'll be coming live. Probably won't do live from here. We'll probably do live from in front of the courthouse. So talk to you guys later, and don't forget to be fearless. Bye.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.